Kanae Kijima, 37, was convicted of murdering 3 men, aged 41, 53, and 80, for financial gain, according to the court. The presiding judge stated there was no justification for leniency in her sentencing. Kijima met her victims through internet dating sites, sedated them with sleeping pills, and then poisoned them using carbon monoxide produced by burning charcoal briquettes. Kanae Kijima, born in 1974, became known across Japan as the Konkatsu Killer after a series of suspicious deaths in 2009 led investigators to uncover a pattern of murder and deception that shocked the nation. Kijima, who frequented marriage hunting konkatsu websites, targeted men seeking companionship, ultimately killing 3 victims between January and August 2009. The case began to unravel in August 2009 when 41-year-old Yoshiyuki Oide was found dead in a rental car in Saitama Prefecture. The cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning, initially presumed to be a suicide. However, inconsistencies at the scene, including the absence of car keys and recent financial transfers to Kijima, raised suspicions. Police questioned Kijima, who had been dating Oide, marking the start of a broader investigation. Earlier that year, in January, 53-year-old Takao Terada was found dead in his home in Ome, Tokyo. His death, too, was initially ruled a suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning. However, forensic evidence later revealed sedatives in his system and no indication that he had purchased the charcoal used in the poisoning. Investigators also found that Kijima had systematically withdrawn large sums from Terada's bank accounts in the days before his death. In May, 80-year-old Keizo Wando died in a house fire in Chiba Prefecture. While the blaze was thought to be accidental, further examination showed that Ando had ingested sleeping pills at 10 times the usual dosage, and the fire had been set to cover up carbon monoxide poisoning. Again, Kijima had been seen at his home the day before and had withdrawn money from his accounts. As the investigation deepened, police linked Kijima to a string of similar cases, all involving men she met through dating sites, sudden deaths staged as suicides, and significant financial gain for Kijima. When police searched her Tokyo apartment in November 2009, they found large quantities of medications and evidence of her involvement with multiple victims. Police arrested Kijima in September 2009 on fraud charges as they continued to build their case. A search of her Tokyo apartment in November uncovered large quantities of prescription drugs and evidence linking her to multiple suspicious deaths. By early 2010, Kijima faced multiple charges of fraud and, ultimately, murder. Prosecutors argued that Kijima targeted vulnerable men on dating sites, lured them with promises of marriage, and killed them to avoid repaying money they had given her, all while funding a lavish lifestyle. The defense maintained that the men had taken their own lives or died by accident, but the court found the pattern of sedatives, staged scenes, and financial motive compelling. A notable aspect of Kijima's case was the media's focus on her physical appearance rather than the severity of her crimes. Throughout the trial, popular forums, newspapers, and magazines frequently questioned how a woman often described in unflattering terms as ugly and fat could have attracted so many victims, overshadowing discussion of the murders themselves. Some commentators speculated that Kijima's appeal stemmed from her homely qualities, citing stereotypes that portray chubby women as cheerful, nurturing, and skilled in the kitchen. It was suggested that men might be drawn to the warmth and hospitality associated with such traits, preferring them over what was perceived as the aloofness of more fashionable women. On April 13, 2012, the Saitama District Court found Kanae Kijima guilty of murdering Oide, Terada, and Ando. Presiding Judge Kazuyuki Okuma cited her selfish motives and lack of remorse, stating, "There is no room for leniency as the defendant committed the crimes for selfish purposes." Kijima was sentenced to death, a decision upheld on appeal. The investigation revealed that Kijima had targeted 3 men she met through dating websites, with each death initially ruled a suicide, but later determined to have been staged. The court concluded that Kijima was responsible for the murders and, despite her continued claims of innocence, found her guilty in 2012. The conviction, which relied heavily on circumstantial evidence, resulted in a death sentence that was upheld on appeal. Kijima remains on death row awaiting execution. In Japan, individuals sentenced to death typically fade from public attention. However, Kijima has remained visible by maintaining a blog where she shares details about her life and relationships, continuing to post during and after her trial, likely with assistance from her lawyers. Her writings cover a range of topics, including the types of cookies available in detention, conditions on death row, dietary advice, and reflections on the lay judge system in Japanese criminal trials.